Today, let's talk about what is the Bible. The world's bestseller, 1,189 chapters made up of 66 books, which includes the Old and New Testament, which is, by the way, divided by the birth of Jesus Christ. All right, enough with the facts. So what is the Bible really talking about? If you open up the Bible, right in the first few chapters, there is a snake that talks. What the heck? And God said to Adam and Eve, don't eat the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden or else you'll die. They had to eat it anyways. But according to Genesis chapter 5, Adam did not die on the sight. Instead, he lived till 930 years old. What? So no, I can't explain the Bible in a 5-minute video. I probably couldn't even do it if you gave me 500 minutes. But to cut to the chase, if you put the Bible in a single sentence or even in a single word, what would that be? The answer is love. Love, 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 love. I'm not saying this out of my own opinion. It is exactly how it's put down in the Bible. In a book called Matthew, which is apparently written by a guy called Matthew, he wrote in chapter 22 about an incident where Jesus was confronted by the Pharisees. Now, the Pharisees, they didn't like Jesus. Jesus was always preaching something new, something they've never heard about. And Jesus' followers were growing larger and larger by the number, and they did not like that. It's kind of like being jealous of people who have more followers on Instagram these days. So the Pharisees were always trying to find fault with Jesus, and this day they came up with another question to put Jesus to the test. So they were like, yo, Jesus, so you're a teacher of the Bible, right? So tell us, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus didn't even pause. He shut them all up with just a few words saying, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and prophets hang on these two commandments. Man, if Jesus lived in this era, I'd be like... So the Bible, it has one important core message to spread out, and that is to love. To love God and love others. But listen carefully, there is a sequence to this. It's love God first, and then love others as you would love yourself. Why? Why do I have to love God before I can love others? What's the catch? Well, you see, when people date and see each other, their personalities, their characters start rubbing off on each other. They start dressing up alike. They start talking alike, thinking alike, even looking alike. Now, God is absolute truth and love. He's kind. He's merciful. He's intelligent. He's funny, as far as I know. God is perfect. And when you start hanging out with God, when you start developing a closer relationship with Him, God's character starts rubbing off on you. You step by step become a better person. And when you're immersed in that perfect love, you become like that. And you become capable of sharing that love with other people. You see, children who grow up in families that are caring and loving, they grow up to become adults that have more successful marriages. When you immerse yourself in the perfect love of God, you learn how to treat others the way God treats you. And that's what the Bible is all about. It's about perfection, about perfect love. Putting the absolute God first so that you become a more perfect person and making you a being who is capable of loving others that way too. Man, that sounds awesome. So grab a Bible, go to a church near you, and start learning today. God bless you, and peace.